Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic, and this is another reaction to Hunter x Hunter. It's episode 9, and you know what to do, as always. If you want to see the reaction itself, just go down into my descriptions, follow the links, replace the circumflex dot parts with real dots, and enjoy. Once you've done, feel free to come back here and hear my thoughts about this episode, so see you soon. For those that came back, welcome back. Now, let's talk about this episode. It was really good because it shone a bit of a light on Kurapika and, well, a little bit about Gon, but there was not so much a surprise there. So, let's see. We started off with Sedokan versus Gon. So, Sedokan put it very clearly in words in the beginning. He was not the bodily type. He's not the one who wants to go fighting and everything like that. And I was a bit surprised about the fact that Gon himself said about himself that he's not much of a brainer, not much of the guy that thinks things through, possibly not one who likes riddles and stuff like that. So that's very self-reflecting. I mean, who is able to tell that about himself, that he's not so clever and bright? Gon does. So they chose a battle of whose candle is going out first. And they got tricked multiple times there. But in the end, it made sense that Sedokan would be someone who doesn't play fair, doesn't play by the books. So he manipulated the candles. He had more than just 2, he had 4 ready, and he just did a little trick with his fingers so that he could exchange the candles. So it was something they couldn't win that way. I was a little bit surprised about that Gon didn't try to blow out his candle like in the beginning. We all know how good he is when it comes to speed and everything. So I thought maybe he had an option to, like, while running, making sure that his candle doesn't go out, holding his hand around that, something like that. And then just blow out the candle of Sedokan. But he didn't. Instead, he turned a bad situation into a positive. So the fact that his candle was burning too much, he turned to his advantage, because he then just put it on the ground and go after Sedokan's candle. Makes sense? It's a good one. It shows this idea of turning a bad situation into something good. Well done. But not much of a surprise there for me, except for how he was able to do it in the end. The fact that the immense burning of the candle makes him able to do it. So, apart from that, I was kind of waiting for someone to blow out the other one's candle. And I wouldn't have been surprised if, Sedokan would have had what's the wording for it? A stick with a hole in it? I'm not sure. A blow stick. So that he can, do that from the distance. Just blow out the candle from the distance. Or, I don't know, like a water cannon. Or just spit from afar. Or anything like that. If he would have had a trick like that up in his sleeves. Just seeing the options. But they seem to have only the stuff they are carrying as close as with them. So yeah. That was okay. It was a good one. Not much of a surprise. However, the manager of the tower is impressed by Gon now. That is always a good thing. We see many people impressed by him by now. And then we come to the second part. That was a good one. So we have Majitani. Majitani. There's the name. Who is just an imposter. He's just a poser. He appeared to be incredibly strong bodily, so a good fighter, and he had hearts tattooed on his chest to show how many people he killed. As we know now, all of this is just a charade. Nothing of that is true. His body, you have to train to get a body like that. So he trained to look like that. Seems like he made his face look like that on purpose. The tattooed hearts are just that. Possibly no one killed. And, you could have guessed it in the beginning when it was said what he was imprisoned for. He was imprisoned for fraud. So, fraud is not murder. Fraud is cheating others, is making them believe stuff. So that is what he's specialized in. So even all of his outer appearance was designed to intimidate people. By and you could see by his reactions that he himself was very unsecure about himself when he realized that Kurapika did not react at all. I like the fact that Kurapika did see from the beginning he's possibly just a loudmouth. Gon did see it, and Killua did see it for sure. They were not impressed. Leorio, however, is going for outer appearance, which is interesting because in all the episodes before, it was portrayed much like that. That although Leorio is a nice guy and quite capable at what he's doing, he doesn't have the insight in people as the others do. Although Gon does not seem to know much about people, he can at least judge how dangerous they are. Not much of other stuff, but at least how dangerous they are. So, he is just a poser. And all of that went quite nice. So even he had implanted steel in his arms so that he can crash the ground. Which, by the way, doesn't make much sense because there's still, like muscles and your skin and everything above it. So if you have steel around your bones, it may, just may, protect your bones. But still, you would rip open your hand. It still would be steel smashing on stone, and between those two layers is your flesh and your blood. So he would be bleeding from his hands, and it would hurt him a lot. Unless he got his nerves removed in this operation so that he doesn't feel the pain, but then he couldn't use his hands, so not much of a sense, but it is about, posing. I can see that. It's okay. So that's how he did that. It was one of his 2 posing moves. And the other one was a spider on his back. So he wanted to intimidate people by thinking he is a member of the Phantom Troop. So that was stupid. Normally, just saying, normally that would work. For many people, they would be intimidated. Knowing what the Phantom Troops is, they would be intimidated on attacking him because they would be sure they will die. Instead, they will withdraw and they will lose a round, but they will live. I see the idea. He just chose the completely wrong person for it. So having Kurapika on the other side was like his worst nightmare enemy, because not only did he not care about his intimidation, he was the one that would go haywire on the Phantom Troop tattoo, even although knowing it was not a real tattoo. So he even explained to him later on what he did wrong and why this is no real tattoo, but still he went into a frenzy and kicked the living hell out of him, with 1 punch only, by the way. But I liked that how they showed that he is using his whole body for it. Because from first view, Kurapika doesn't seem like someone who's very powerful. He's a very slender boy, very lean. On first view, not very much muscles. So he might have some, but he's not overly muscular. But the hit we've seen from him, he uses his whole body like a spring to get in more power, and he clearly devastated Majitani. I liked that. It was a good one. And you could see in the reactions from the others that they didn't expect it from him. Even Killua was whistling for a second there. So there is this moment of there's more in this guy than I expected, fighting wise, which is good. I like it. However, the fact that he's losing control, he goes into a frenzy when he sees his tattoo or sees a spider, is a problem. It might work if it is a spider that you can beat. But what if you encounter a really dangerous big one somewhere in the wild, a monster that looks like a spider, and he goes frenzy and attacks it? And it wouldn't have been even an enemy spider, just living there. But if you attack it, it will strike back. So that's one thing. The other, what if you're inside, I don't know, a tavern, and there's a spider coming from the ceiling? Just, a small one, and you go haywire. That will be weird. And I'm pretty sure there will be something like that in the future. I'm very sure of it, because they kind of teased it now. It has to be. So the other one tried to look out that there is no spider around him. We will see. Which brings us to the Phantom Troop. So 12 people. We know that they are the one who, as far as we know, killed and slaughtered the whole clan of Kurapika. We have seen a very short shadow image of those persons. And they are feared by the hunters, which is a statement. I mean, they clearly are incredibly powerful and influential in their very own way. Maybe something like an opposite of the hunters. The fact that we've seen 12 shadow images, I think we will have in this series sooner or later encounter with them, and possibly one by one they will be visiting us. Let's say it that way. Number 12, however, that's quite a lot. Quite many of them. So we will see where we are going. Last but not least, the next fight. So it's Leorio. We are 2-on-1. We have 2 wins and 1 loss. Not wanting to push down Leorio, but I think he will lose. Mainly because we will need like a 2-on-2 situation. 2 points for each side, so that we have like the big finale. Which would be story-wise clever, brings in the power, the pumping you want to see the finale. But on the other hand, it would weaken Leorio, and I'm kind of sad. It would be a bit sad about that, because he, for me, feels still like the weakest of the 4. So once again, letting him lose would lower him even more. However, if they do it cleverly, maybe they can show us something about him which is important, because although he seems to be the weakest, I've seen many good things in him in the last episodes already. The fact that he is maybe the best doctor on the planet. And he has an inner will to do good, which I really like. So if they let him loose, it may be because, as I guess the other person in the ring now is a girl, and he's maybe not going against a girl. Or at least not as much as he would normally. I'm very sure that Killua would go against the girl. I guess Kurapika would as well, depending on the situation, but I guess. And I think Gon is like male or female, equal rights. Here you get a punch. Just guessing. We don't know. We will see. However, Leorio seems very much like a gentleman in very many things he does. Or he sees himself as one at least, so even if he would fight against a girl, he possibly would hold back a bit or would react a bit too late, so that would put him on a disadvantage. We will see. That's it from me this time. As always, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. My name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.